speed. Well, a blue will view a yellow a little like a robot would view a ferret on speed. They watch them zip around like crazy, but they wouldn't quite know what to make of it all. If you're mostly blue, you'll appreciate structure and order. You'll need clear processes and functional systems. You'll crave time for reflection and trust your thoughts more than your feelings. Naturally, this doesn't imply that you don't have any emotions, but it does mean that you'll prefer to keep them under lock and key, especially in front of other people. Letting one or more yellows run amok around you can trigger some very serious stress reactions. All they do is talk, and they never get anything done. They're always making plans, but never do anything about them. They talk about the future as though it were already here, and you have a very hard time understanding what exactly it is they want. They laugh at everything you value. Your need for details and data, for precision and exactness will never be fulfilled, and your normal reaction will probably be to just withdraw from them completely. You won't be able to keep up with all their unpredictable twists and turns because your brain doesn't work like theirs does. Spur-of-the-moment decisions and sudden reactions are like a foreign language to you. Every time you ask them for something specific, they give you an answer that doesn't seem to contain anything at all. Nothing solid, all fluff. Yellows are experts at blowing hot air at you, but what you need are facts. Unless you've already decided everybody who has the slightest hint of yellow in them is a fool, you'll probably end up in a taste of hopelessness, perhaps even depression. Things look pretty bad. How to avoid drowning in nonsense. You find yellows to be hopeless, but now you're sitting there needing to get closer to one of them. Perhaps it's a business relationship. Perhaps it's even your relationship with your boss. Just like in the previous examples, it's all about approaching the person on their terms. It's absolutely pointless to go to the yellow with an Excel sheet where you've scored your last 19 conversations. What you need is basically to move towards the light, to head towards the yellow. We start with body language. Very few people can consciously control their body language. Deceiving somebody with fake body language takes both insight and training. However, everybody reads it. Whether consciously or subconsciously, they receive the signals. Yellows in particular. They don't always know what they're reacting to, just that they're reacting. You're usually quite reserved. You often sit in your chair with your back held straight, probably reclining slightly, with your hands in front of you on the table. One hand might be holding a sheet of paper with all your notes on it. Your security blanket. You sometimes sit still like this for a long time too. To a yellow, this signals coolness and dismissiveness. It will make them hostile to you. They won't listen to your message. You won't reach each other. What you need to do is practice some adjustments. For instance, an active change of posture. Rather than leaning back all the time, you should sometimes lean forward over the table. Sometimes you'll gesture with one hand, other times you'll do it with the other. When you speak to the other person, you point to them as follows. You direct your whole hand towards them with your fingers open and pointing forward. However, you turn your hand palm up. This signals positivity, friendliness, and support for the person you're addressing. I see you. I hear you. Your face. I'm sure you smile and even laugh when somebody tells a good joke, but in an ordinary conversation you might not find too much to smile at. Yellows smile all the time though. Sometimes they even smile when they receive bad news. Don't worry about why, it is just how they work. No, smiling on command or even trying to laugh when there's nothing really worth laughing at isn't easy. But if you want a yellow's attention, you'll need to signal to them that you have a positive attitude. You'll simply have to practice your smiling in front of a mirror. Enlist the help of somebody you have complete trust in, and practice smiling without looking like you have a stomachache. A big smile and a good laugh will release lots of positive endorphins, and they'll generally serve you well as icebreakers. They signal good intentions, so make sure to smile. Now that you're going to deliver your message, you have to do it without reading your notes verbatim. I'm fully aware that you've probably got everything you need to say written down. However, you should practice the lines to the point where you don't need to refer to your notes. Make eye contact with the person you're speaking to for at least 5 seconds straight. Look away and then meet their gaze again. Keep doing that. Don't tell them, all you ever do is joke around and I can't take you seriously at all. This would constitute some very serious criticism of the yellow in question, and it wouldn't be received well. Don't tell them, there's no way I can work in this place when the workflow is this haphazard and the processes are this subpar. This too would be highly critical and a very unfortunate start to a conversation. There's also this rather obvious point. The yellow doesn't care about routines and processes anyway and will switch off immediately. No, nothing that resembles actual criticism, however well deserved, will work. What you do instead is inflate the yellow's ego a little. Tell them, you truly are an inspiration for many of the people here. It's impressive to see the way you share your vision with others. Note that this isn't lying. You haven't said that you are inspired by them, only that others are. Not everybody has the same difficulties you do with the yellows. You might add something about really wanting to know how they do it. Next, you grit your teeth and listen to the yellow's modest attempts at humility, which will really be all about reinforcing what you just said. What you're trying to do, however, is explain what you need in order to succeed better at your work. Say this: I'd like to be part of your vision, and I'd like to better develop my tasks in line with your inspiring plans. In order to succeed at that and achieve amazing results, I need some input, like X, Y, and Z. You know what you need, of course. The yellow will agree to this and head into a long harangue of untested ideas and potential illusions. When the silence returns, you repeat: I'd like to be a part of your vision, and I'd like to better develop my tasks in line with your inspiring plans. In order to succeed at that and achieve amazing results, I need some input like X, Y, and Z. You might very well get the same response as last time. If that happens, you simply repeat yourself until you're absolutely sure the yellow has heard you. Remember that they're terrible listeners and they think out loud. Go for the solution, but for God's sake, keep listening. Offer to take notes and write down everything the two of you agree on. This is the only way to make any of it happen, because the moment you leave the room, the yellow will already have forgotten half of what you said. This is probably all you can do, and there are no guarantees that it will certainly work. Can this always be fixed? In my early years as a consultant, I would probably have insisted, yes, with some motivation and effort, it can be fixed. These days, I'm not so sure. Although a combination of knowledge and good intentions can take you a long way, there are some bridges that are very difficult to cross. Sometimes things end up getting better, sometimes they go very wrong. People sometimes part as enemies. If you find yourself involved in something that reminds you of one or more of these four cases, I wish you the best of luck. The time and effort you invest could very well be rewarded, but you can't presume that the other party will view things the same way as you do. You'll simply have to decide what it's worth to you. How much are you prepared to sacrifice to get where you want to go? You see, there will always be a cost involved. And remember this: we're all a jerk in somebody's story. However, I can tell you that if you follow the advice I've given you here, methodically and with care, you'll at least only lose a minimum of energy in your interactions with the yellows in your life. And you'll be feeding them more energy. So this really is a win-win approach. General intel on all of the above. Here are some things I need to point out about the disc theory. 1. Not everything in a certain individual's behavior can be explained in terms of the disc theory. 2. There are other theories that explain human behavior. 3. There are other pieces of the puzzle besides the colors that can be used to chart different behavioral patterns. 4. The disc theory is based on psychological studies, is used all over the world, and has been translated into 50 or so different languages. 5. Around 80% of all people exhibit a combination of two colors that dominate their behavior. About 5% of people exhibit behavior that's dominated by a single color. Others are dominated by three colors. 6. The most common varieties are fully green behavior and green combined with another color, which is the most common of all. The most unusual is fully red behavior or red combined with another color. 7. There may be gender-determined differences. There will always be exceptions to everything I've given examples of in this book. People are complicated. Red individuals can be humbled too, and yellows can cultivate the ability to listen attentively to others. There are green individuals who deal with conflict head-on because they've learned to, and many blues who actually know when it's time to stop verifying that the documentation is actually accurate. I wanted to show you the challenges the different colors face because things occasionally sour between us, even when there are no real problems and nobody has actually behaved badly. We are who we are, and it's as simple as that. Things can go wrong even when people behave fully decently to each other, and this can leave everybody involved drained. However, as you've seen, it doesn't always have to be that way. With a bit of imagination, a generous helping of self knowledge, and a dose of willingness to take responsibility for the situation before it gets out of control, you can bring about something that seems like a miracle. I've seen it happen countless times. Somebody decides that they've had enough. They decide to take action. Will you be that person? Will you step forward, speak out, and say loud and clear, "This isn't working, but I want to be part of the solution. Who's with me?" I think you will be. And when you do those things, you'll see the smiles appear on everybody else's faces. You'll see their hope return. You'll notice their nods of agreement. They want to deal with these energy vampires too. Yes, we're with you. That'll be quite something.